Hi everyone! Welcome back to another episode of English Mini Talks YouTube channel.
Hi friends! Great to have you with us again. We're so excited you decided to join us today.
And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe button now and like this video. Your support motivates us to make more and better videos for you every day.
We are here to help you speak naturally and confidently.
And the best way to get better is to listen, to hear real conversations, natural English that flows.
That's why we're here, to chat about everyday situations, the kind of conversations you'll actually have in real life. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's learn together.
So, I have to ask you something. I was looking at some travel videos last night, and I started dreaming about all the amazing locations around the world.
Oh, really? That sounds interesting. Where did these videos take you?
Well, there was this incredible beach in Thailand with crystal clear water, then some cozy cafes in Amsterdam, and those beautiful mountains in New Zealand. It made me think, if you could visit any country right now, where would you go?
Wow, that's a tough question. You know what? I think I'd love to visit Japan. The culture seems so fascinating. The food looks amazing. And I've always wanted to see those cherry blossoms in spring. But honestly, there are so many amazing locations. South Korea with its modern cities and traditions, Vietnam with those stunning landscapes, the United States with its diverse geography from coast to coast, or, for example, Thailand, like you mentioned.
Yes, every country has something beautiful to offer, doesn't it? Each one has its own charm, its own stories to tell.
That sounds wonderful. And speaking of traveling and visiting new locations, that's exactly what we want to talk about today.
That's right. Today we're diving into one of everyone's favorite topics, vacations.
Now, before we listen to our first conversation, let's go over some useful vocabulary that you'll hear. We've selected 5 words that might not be the most common travel words, but they're really helpful to know.
Great idea. I'll start with the first word, wander. This means to walk around slowly without a specific destination, just exploring. For example, yesterday we decided to wander around the old town and discovered a lovely bookstore.
Wander is fantastic because it captures that relaxed feeling of exploring without stress. Here's another example. I love to wander through local markets when I travel. You never know what treasures you'll find. Okay, my turn. The word is breathtaking. This describes something so beautiful or amazing that it almost takes your breath away. For example, the view from the mountaintop was absolutely breathtaking. We could see the entire valley below.
Oh, I adore that word. Breathtaking really shows how something can affect you emotionally. Another example would be, the sunset over the ocean was breathtaking. We just stood there in silence, watching the colors change. Next word, cozy. This means comfortable, warm, and inviting, usually describing small, intimate locations. For example, we found this cozy little cafe where locals gather for morning coffee and fresh bread.
Cozy is such a warm word. It makes you feel comfortable just hearing it. Here's my example. After walking in the rain all day, we were so happy to find a cozy restaurant with a fireplace.
Oh, that sounds lovely. I can almost hear the fire crackling.
Here's another one. Authentic. This means genuine or real, not fake or made for tourists. For example, we wanted to try authentic local food, So we asked our hotel owner where the locals actually eat.
I love authentic because it's what every traveler is looking for. Another example. The best way to have an authentic cultural experience is to stay with local families instead of big hotels. And our final word, stumble upon. This means to find something by accident, usually something wonderful. For example, we were completely lost, but we stumbled upon this amazing street festival with live music and dancing.
Stumble upon is one of my favorite travel expressions. It captures those magical moments that you can't really create. Another example, while wandering through the narrow streets, we stumbled upon a hidden garden that wasn't in any guidebook. All right, everyone. Now that we've covered these 5 words, let's listen to our first conversation.
Zara, did you check out that local market we saw on this map yesterday? I think we should wander around there this morning.
Oh, yes. I've been thinking about that all night. The hotel receptionist said it's where all the locals buy fresh fruits and handmade crafts. It sounds so authentic.
Exactly what I was hoping for. I'm getting tired of all those tourist traps near our hotel. Should we head there after breakfast?
Definitely, but first, I want to show you something I found online last night. There's this breathtaking waterfall about an hour from here. Look at these photos.
Wow, that's incredible. The water looks so clear and blue. How do we get there?
Well, we could rent a scooter, or there's a local bus that goes there twice a day. The bus might be more authentic. We'd travel with locals instead of other tourists.
I love the bus idea. What time does it leave?
The first one leaves at 9 a.m. from the main square, and the second one at 2 p.m. If we take the morning bus, we could have lunch near the waterfall and come back in the evening.
That sounds wonderful, but what about the market? I really wanted to buy some spices for my sister back home.
Oh, we can do both. We could visit the market early around 7 a.m. That's when it's most lively anyway. Then grab a quick breakfast and catch the 9 a.m. bus.
You're brilliant. Early morning markets are always the best. The vendors are friendlier, and everything is fresher. Plus, we might stumble upon some local breakfast foods we haven't tried yet.
I was thinking the same thing. Yesterday, while wandering around the old town, I stumbled upon this tiny street where grandmothers were selling homemade noodle soup from their doorsteps.
Really? Why didn't you tell me? That sounds amazing.
I wanted to surprise you. We could go there tomorrow morning instead. Today, let's focus on the market and the waterfall.
Good thinking. So our plan is market at 7 a.m., breakfast at 8, bus to the waterfall at 9, and back in the evening.
Exactly. And I found this cozy little restaurant near the waterfall that serves traditional food. The reviews say it's family-owned and has the most breathtaking view of the mountains.
This trip is getting better. What should we bring for the waterfall? Can we swim there?
The website says swimming is allowed, so definitely bring our swimsuits. Oh, and a waterproof bag for our phones. I want to take so many photos.
Good idea. Should we bring lunch or eat at that restaurant you mentioned?
Let's eat at the restaurant. Supporting local businesses feels more meaningful, and I'm curious about their traditional dishes. The photos show these colorful dishes that look absolutely delicious.
Great. I'm excited to try something completely new. What about tomorrow? Any ideas?
Well, there's that cooking class we talked about. It starts at 10 a.m. and includes a visit to another local market to buy ingredients.
Oh, right. We'd learn to make authentic local dishes and then eat what we cooked. That's such a cool experience.
And the best thing is, we'll wander through a different neighborhood to get to the cooking school. I love exploring new areas without a specific route.
Me too. Getting a little lost always leads to the best discoveries. Remember when we stumbled upon that beautiful temple yesterday?
How could I forget? It wasn't in any guidebook, and it was so calm and cozy. The monk there was so kind, he even showed us the garden.
Those are the moments that make travel special. Not the famous attractions, but the unexpected, authentic experiences.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, should we book that cooking class now or wait until tomorrow morning?
Let's book it now. Good, authentic experiences fill up quickly. Plus, it gives us something to look forward to after our waterfall adventure.
Great idea. I'll call them right now. This is going to be such an amazing few days.
I couldn't agree more. Now let's get ready for the market. I can't wait to wander around and see what treasures we'll find.
That was a fantastic conversation. Did you notice how natural their travel planning sounded? Kenji and Zara were doing exactly what most couples do when they're exploring a new country, balancing different interests and making decisions together.
Yes, I loved how they were so excited about authentic experiences rather than just visiting famous tourist locations.
Exactly. And this is something really important for travelers to remember. The best memories often come from those unplanned moments, like when Zara mentioned stumbling upon those grandmothers selling noodle soup. That's the kind of authentic experience you can't book online or find in guidebooks.
So true. And did you hear how they used our vocabulary words naturally throughout their conversation?
Absolutely. They weren't forcing the words. They flowed naturally because these are exactly the situations where you'd use expressions like wander around or describe something as breathtaking. This shows us that vocabulary becomes most useful when it fits naturally into real conversations about topics you care about.
Now let's get ready for our second conversation. This time we'll hear two friends who just returned from their vacation and they're sharing their experiences. Before we listen, let's learn 5 more useful travel words.
I'll start with memorable. This means something that stays in your mind because it was special or important. For example, the sunset we watched from the beach was so memorable, I still think about it every day.
I love that word. Memorable is so useful when talking about travel experiences. Another example, meeting that local artist in the small village was the most memorable moment of our entire trip. Now let's look at the word exhausted. This means extremely tired, usually after doing a lot of activities. For example, after hiking for 8 hours in the mountains, we were completely exhausted but so happy.
Exhausted is definitely a word every traveler knows well. It's stronger than just tired. Here's my example. We were so exhausted from our busy day in the city that we fell asleep the moment our heads hit the hotel room's bed. Next word, worth it. This expression means that something was valuable or beneficial, even if it was difficult or expensive. For example, the flight was long and expensive, but seeing the northern lights made it totally worth it.
Worth it is such a common travel expression. We use it when we want to say something was a good decision. Another example, waking up at 4 a.m. to catch the sunrise was definitely worth it. The view was incredible. Here's another useful word, crowded. This means full of many individuals, usually too many. For example, the famous museum was so crowded that we could barely see the artwork.
Crowded is essential vocabulary for talking about tourist destinations. Here's another example. We avoided the crowded restaurants near the main square and found a quiet local spot instead. And our final expression, once in a lifetime. This describes something very rare and special that probably won't happen again. For example, swimming with dolphins in their natural habitat was truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
What a beautiful expression. Once in a lifetime really captures those magical travel moments. Another example. Watching the traditional ceremony in that remote village was a once-in-a-lifetime cultural experience we'll never forget.
Perfect. Now let's listen to our second conversation where two friends are catching up after their vacation.
Riley, you're back. How was your trip to Peru? I've been waiting to hear all about it.
Emma, oh my goodness, where do I even begin? It was absolutely incredible, but I'm still completely exhausted. We just got back yesterday and I'm still recovering from all the adventures.
I can imagine. You were gone for 2 whole weeks. Tell me everything. What was the most memorable moment?
That's such a difficult question because every single day had something special. But I think the most memorable experience was reaching the top of Machu Picchu at sunrise. We hiked for 4 days to get there, and I was so exhausted by the end that I thought I couldn't take another step.
4 days of hiking? That sounds intense. Was it worth it, though?
Oh, absolutely worth it. When we finally saw those ancient ruins appearing through the morning mist, Emma, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. It was truly a once-in-a-lifetime moment. No photo could capture how magical it felt.
Wow, that gives me chills too. What about the crowds? I heard Machu Picchu gets really crowded with tourists.
You know, that's exactly why we chose the hiking trail instead of taking the train. The train brings hundreds of visitors every day, so the main entrance gets incredibly crowded. But because we hiked the ancient Inca Trail, we arrived early and had the site almost to ourselves for the first hour.
That's brilliant. I never would have thought of that. What else made the trip so memorable?
Well, the local communities we stayed with during the hike were amazing. In one tiny village, this elderly woman taught me how to weave traditional textiles using techniques passed down for generations. It was exhausting work. My hands were so sore, but learning from her was absolutely worth it.
That sounds like such an authentic cultural experience. Did you face any challenges during the trip?
Oh, yes, the altitude was brutal. Lima's at sea level, but then we went to Cusco, which is over 11,000 feet high. I was so exhausted just from walking slowly around the city on our first day. And don't get me started on the crowded markets. Navigating through those narrow aisles with a backpack was like solving a puzzle.
I can't imagine, but it sounds like every challenge was worth it. What about the food? You're always so adventurous with trying new dishes.
The food was incredible. Though I'll admit some experiences were more memorable than others. We tried guinea pig, which is a traditional dish there. It was interesting, but the ceviche, absolutely amazing. Fresh fish with lime and spices, I could eat it every day.
Guinea pig? Riley, you're braver than me. What was the most crowded place you visited?
Definitely the San Pedro market in Cusco. It was packed with locals buying groceries, tourists searching for souvenirs, vendors calling out in Spanish and Quechua. The energy was incredible, but honestly, after being in peaceful mountain villages, the crowds felt overwhelming.
I bet. Did you buy anything memorable there?
I found this beautiful handmade blanket woven by a local artist. It was expensive, but when I saw the detail and learned it took her 3 months to make, I knew it was worth it. Plus, it's a once-in-a-lifetime piece. She'll never make another exactly like it.
That's so special. You'll have that forever as a reminder of your trip. Any moments that made you feel exhausted but happy at the same time?
The last day of our hike, we climbed for 12 hours straight to reach this remote lagoon. My legs were shaking. I was completely exhausted. But when we arrived, Emma, the water was the most incredible turquoise color surrounded by snow-capped mountains. We were the only humans for miles around.
That sounds absolutely breathtaking. It must have been so quiet and peaceful after all of those crowded tourist areas.
Exactly. It was worth every exhausting step. You know what? All the challenges, being exhausted, dealing with the crowds, trying strange foods, they all became part of what made this trip so memorable.
I'm so inspired by your stories. This conversation is making me want to book my next adventure right now. Peru definitely sounds like it offers those once-in-a-lifetime experiences you can't find anywhere else.
You absolutely should go. Yes, you'll be exhausted, and yes, some places will be crowded, but trust me, it's completely worth it. Some experiences are just too memorable to miss.
What a wonderful conversation. Emma and Riley showed us exactly how friends naturally share travel experiences. Did you notice how Riley didn't just list places she visited, but instead focused on her emotions and personal reactions to each experience?
Yes, she made everything sound so vivid, but what made their conversation flow so well?
Great question. Riley was a fantastic storyteller because she balanced the positive and negative aspects of her trip. She didn't pretend everything was perfect. She talked about being exhausted, dealing with crowds, and even trying food that wasn't her favorite. This honesty made her stories much more believable and engaging.
And Emma seemed genuinely interested in every detail. How can we be good listeners like that?
Emma demonstrated excellent active listening skills. She asked follow-up questions that showed she was really paying attention. When Riley mentioned hiking for 4 days, Emma immediately asked, "Was it worth it?" This type of question encourages the storyteller to share deeper feelings about their experience.
I noticed they used our vocabulary words so naturally. Was this typical for post-vacation conversations?
Absolutely. When people return from trips, they naturally want to evaluate their experiences. What was worth it? What was memorable? When they felt exhausted. These aren't textbook words that students memorize. They're genuine expressions that travelers use to process and share their adventures.
And Riley seemed to have learned so much from her trip. Is this common?
This is one of the most beautiful aspects of travel. Notice how Riley didn't just visit places. She connected with local people, learned traditional skills like weaving, and stepped outside her comfort zone by trying new foods. Travel becomes truly meaningful when you engage with different cultures, rather than just taking photos of famous landmarks.
The way she described that sunrise at Machu Picchu was so powerful. How can we paint vivid pictures with our words like that?
Riley used several effective techniques. First, she engaged multiple senses. She mentioned the morning mist, the visual impact of the ruins appearing, and even her physical reaction of getting goosebumps. She also contrasted experiences, comparing the crowded train route with their peaceful early morning arrival. Most importantly, she connected physical sensations with emotions, being exhausted but simultaneously amazed.
What about the challenges she faced? She didn't seem discouraged by them.
This is a crucial mindset for both travelers and language learners. Riley reframed difficulties as part of the adventure. The altitude sickness, the crowded markets, the exhausting hikes. She presented these as elements that made her trip more authentic and memorable. This positive reframing is incredibly valuable. When we face challenges in learning English, we can adopt the same attitude. Difficulties become part of our learning journey, not obstacles to avoid.
That's such a great perspective. Did you notice anything else about how they communicated?
Yes, they used a perfect mix of specific details and general impressions. Riley didn't just say the food was good. She specifically mentioned ceviche and even the challenging experience of trying guinea pig. But she also shared broader feelings like being overwhelmed by market crowds. This combination of concrete examples and emotional responses makes conversations much more interesting and relatable. The most important lesson from this conversation is that sharing travel experiences isn't just about listing activities. It's about connecting with others through storytelling, honest reflection, and genuine curiosity. These same skills make us better English speakers in any conversation, whether we're talking about vacations, work, or daily life experiences. And that brings us to the end of today's episode about vacations. We've covered so much ground together, from planning adventures like Kenji and Zara to sharing unforgettable memories like Emma and Riley.
It's been such a fun journey. I feel like I've traveled to markets, waterfalls, and ancient ruins just by listening to these conversations.
That's exactly the magic of language learning. Every conversation opens up new worlds and experiences. Today, we learned 10 fantastic vocabulary words that you can use in your own travel stories, whether you're planning your next adventure or sharing memories from past trips.
And remember, the best way to improve your English is to actually use these words in real conversations. Don't wait for the ideal moment. Start sharing your own travel dreams and experiences with friends, family, or even fellow English learners online.
Absolutely. Challenge yourself this week. Use at least 3 words from today's episode in your own conversations. Maybe describe something breathtaking you've seen or talk about a once-in-a-lifetime experience you'd love to have. The more you practice, the more natural these expressions will become.